Hello from the Dukascopy TV studio in Geneva. I'm Daniel Schwenger. We are back with our second part on our interview on bank secrecy and tax optimization with Rene Philippe from Offshore Premium. Rene, welcome to the studio.
Thank you, Daniel, for your invitation.
In our last interview, we described that it's now an impossible thing for European residents and American residents to evade taxes. And how do banks react to this now?
Banks are under tremendous pressures. Okay, some of the big banks like HSBC, Credit Suisse, UBS have been fined hugely in the US, are about to be fined in France, next Germany, Israel. So if you are looking at all those things, it's very difficult for banks. Add to this offshore leaks, okay? And what you can imagine is that the mood within banks is not very friendly for people who want to open offshore bank account, even if it's for legitimate business. And it's even more difficult for US citizen and European resident. African or Asian tax residents are still welcome. There is still a lot of layaway for them. But it's a situation which is becoming impossible. Before, offshore service providers and lawyers have friendly relationships with bankers, but not anymore. And can you imagine that for a Swiss corporation, it's a 4 weeks job to open a Swiss bank account? So now we have a situation where legitimate businessmen are penalized by this whole situation.
So opening an offshore bank account has becoming a very special thing, even the a la carte job. So what does this mean now?
If you talk about tax optimization, it has always been a la carte job if you want to do this seriously. Now, if you are talking about people which are planning to hide assets, it has become far more complicated. And yes, it should be a la carte job, being specified that even an a la carte job will not permit to find a perfect solution. And one thing I forget to tell in the first part of our interview is that actually among the 51 countries which have signed the convention to adopt the automatic exchange of information standard requirement, you have 17 tax havens. Among them you have BVI, you have Cayman. So can you imagine what it means when offshore tax havens are joining automatic exchange of information side?
So what does this now mean for individuals who would like to save taxes?
Look, my grandmother has always been saying you cannot have the butter on the money for the butter. What I mean by this is that if you are an individual, you are living in a country where you are paying high personal income tax or where inheritance tax will be huge and you are wondering what will happen at your death, you cannot have it both ways. You cannot stay in your country and have an offshore bank account which purpose is to hide part of your income or assets and hope for the best. It's finished. You cannot do this anymore. Now, if you are an individual, you want to do tax planning, you will have to take a dramatic step. It means relocation. Now, the new business for tax planning for individual, it's tax relocation, permanent residency. And if you are living in one of those countries where you are paying a lot of tax, you have to imagine that there are outside a lot of countries where it's very friendly to live, where you have all the facilities you may want, and where you will pay far less tax.
So what does this mean now for the planning and for the optimization of corporations? So the current news also shows that even in Luxembourg there is no special treatment anymore for companies. So what does it mean?
Let me first explain, because what you are, where you are coming to, it's to tax optimization. Okay. So let me first give you a small background explanation about what tax planning and tax optimization are. Tax planning, it's just to look at the activity of a company and plan for the most efficient taxation. Tax optimization is to take it to the next step, where you are looking at the activities of multinational companies. And you are looking how can I break those activities and where can I locate those activities for them to be in countries which have a friendly taxation. Okay, that's basically that sum it up. Why is tax optimization important? Because not all multinational companies are Google's or Apple, which are reaping huge profits. Okay? What you have to consider is, look at Amazon. Amazon is losing money from the start. They never make a profit. Look at car manufacturers. Do you know what the EBIT, average EBIT is for a car manufacturer? You have Porsche, 17%, but all the rest, it's between 4 to 6%. For Peugeot, it's even minus 0.54%. So can you imagine how for those multinationals which are actually not making so much money, how tax optimization is important? For some of them, it's a question of survival.
So we're not talking about the tax evasion, we are talking on the tax optimization, right? And this is good.
Yes, tax optimization is a good thing. It's something which is actually 100% legal. Is how we do this. We are using the fact that governments have done between themselves what we call double tax avoidance agreement. What is the purpose of those agreements? It's simply to avoid that the same income is taxed twice. Look at an example. Every multinational company has what we call intellectual property. Okay? It may be trademark, it may be patent. Those properties have value, and it's normal that they generate income. Okay? A company will consider, for example, the one-tier structure. The multinational company will set up a company, for example, in Bulgaria. Bulgaria has a corporate income tax of 10% on 72 double tax treaty. You set up the company in Bulgaria. The company will own all the trademark and all the patent of the group. Then it will invoice royalty. The royalty will be received in countries where corporate tax income is favorable, only 10%. For the company which is of the group which is paying the royalty, it's a deductible tax in expenses, so you win twice. And you can actually add one more tier to the structure and make the whole thing even more tax efficient. But it's all legal.
Mm-hmm. And so actually what went wrong in this perception of tax optimization then, that it's seen as not such a positive thing?
It's because you have some companies which have pushed the envelope too far, and Apple, Google, Yahoo, and all those companies went too far. And you also have countries which are ready to do a little bit everything and just to attract multinational. Look at Luxembourg. Luxembourg has a 29% corporate income tax. So why a country with a so high corporate income tax is attracting so many multinational companies? Because they are doing secret deal with multinational companies. And those companies are not paying 29% corporate income tax, but 0.2.5% or 1% only. That's what makes you have something which is legal, which is conform, but by doing this kind of things, they are just make it look like shady deal, and it's unfortunate.
So what would be your message to the regulators and legislative bodies such as OECD?
First, a country like Luxembourg should clean its act like Switzerland is doing now. Okay, Switzerland used to do this kind of tax deal, but they were less important than what Luxembourg is doing. Second thing, Switzerland is about to adopt a common corporate income tax in all Switzerland, 13%, no more tax deal. Okay, that's the first thing. As to government and OECD, it's not because a few countries and a few companies have abused the tax optimization system that you must bring down the whole tax optimization house down. Because as I was showing before, it's useful to a few companies. The second thing I would like to say is that it's going too far. I understand the need to assure that people are not evading tax. I understand the need that we want to fight against money laundering. But the point is that a Swiss company needs 4 weeks to open an offshore bank account. You need 5 minutes to open a Bitcoin address and start to deal with Bitcoins. What I'm saying now is that if we continue to regulate too much, a big part of the financial system will move to unregulated currency. The only obstacle now, the only thing which is putting a brake to this, is that unregulated currency are unstable. But the day where they become stable, a lot of money will go from a regulated network to an unregulated network, and it will be for the advantage of nobodies.
Very interesting points. Rene Philippe from Offshore Premium, thank you very much for your visit in our studio and sharing your expertise with us.
Thank you very much for your invitation, Daniel. Always a pleasure.
And thank you for watching. Do make sure to keep clicking back on the Dukascopy TV website for latest updates and exclusive interviews. See you next time and have a great day.